Hi, friends. Amy here with I Believe in Books. I am back to talk about The Shield of Sparrows. This is my full review, my impressions, excitement. I still am in love with it. I think it's amazing. Well written, good story. Sometimes like romanticy kind of books, even action books, honestly, can get a little bit cliche and cheesy. And this one I felt like was written so well and done in such a real and honest way. Like the writing and the emotions of the characters do not feel trite and cliche in the way these books sometimes can. So I have notes. I also have my glasses, which I cannot keep. I've tried many, many different pairs of glasses. These are supposed to even be anti-reflective. Clearly they're not, because you can see my computer screen through my lenses. But I have to have them to read to you. So let me give you a premise if you're not familiar with the book. So the premise of this book is that there's all these different kingdoms. It's set in whatever time period, we want to believe that it is. And that a daughter named Odessa gets chosen, to use Prince Harry's words. She is the spare daughter of the king. Um, and she actually gets chosen to go and marry the prince from this other kingdom. And the real daughter was originally lined up. The dad had made the agreement, and at the last minute, the prince decided he didn't want May, the daughter that had been originally chosen. He wanted Odessa. So Odessa goes to Tura, and she hates it at first, and she hates all of them, and she's like confused and resentful, and this is not the life that she wanted. She didn't want to marry a prince and become a princess and eventually queen of a different kingdom. So she's like pretty annoyed by the whole thing. It's not the life that she had planned for herself. But here she is. She sets across the whatever countries, lands with this group of people from Tura. And lo and behold, before she goes, her dad pulls her aside the night that she gets married and says, actually, I chose your sister May to go to Tura because I want you to spy on them. And not only do I want you to spy, but I want you to try and kill the Guardian, who's this like, big warrior guy that's part of the Turan community, countryside, land, kingdom. He's part of the Turan kingdom. And so like she hates it at first, right? Like I said, she's there kind of against her will. She's confused. She does not really want to carry out what her dad's asking, because she's like, I'm not fierce like May. Like, I can't do this, right? It's a classic Joseph Campbell hero's journey sort of story. And so through the, arc of the book, she finds her strength. She learns to fight, to sword fight. They mock her for not being in good shape. Which is really cool about this book, because women in Tura are expected to like fight amongst the men and to be strong and to hold their own, which is pretty badass in my opinion. So that's the brief synopsis. Well, the last part I'll tell you is that she eventually falls in love, not with the man that she married, which is actually not the man that she married. I won't give a ton of spoilers, because I won't give any spoilers actually, because I want you to just go read the book, because it's so much better firsthand. I listened to it. I should also say that. I listened to it on Libby. I didn't read it. I tend to like listening to fantasy books more than reading them. I like listening to them more than reading them. There we go. Because the voices, the action comes alive so much more when I listen to them than like what I could do in my own head. So here's my take. That whole synopsis may have sounded more corny than it really is, because it doesn't read or it doesn't listen as corny. because like I said in the beginning, the characters and the emotion and the experience of the story are so well written. It's so highly relatable. Um, you feel like you know Odessa, like not that you have been Odessa, but that you can experience her emotions in real time with her. And I just loved it. I thought that it was both action and romance, which are things that I actually don't normally go for. I go for more, I mean, maybe action a little bit, but like some of my favorite books from last year were just like fiction, historical fiction. Like I talked about the Frozen River in a previous book. I loved all of Kate Quinn's books, and there's some action there. I particularly loved her Ancient Rome series. There's definitely romance in it, but it's not like sweeping Harlequin romance. This one was kind of sweeping Harlequin romance, but not cheesy, not trite, not like weird. Okay, so let me look at my notes here. Um, so I said, like, while I could do without some of the cussing, like there is modern day language in this book that I found a little bit like, it wasn't my favorite. But I found both the action and the romance really enjoyable. I'm not a huge fan of either. Um, and again, I think it's because it's written in such a relatable way. It doesn't feel like a fake soap opera kind of banter. Here's the other thing I really like. There's so many times in romance books or even romance stories, like, God, this was the entire first season of Virgin River, which I will not watch. Thank you very much, because it's so cheesy soap opera. Um, she just like pretends that she doesn't like the guy, which when she clearly likes the guy. It's so annoying that they do that with women in romances. It actually is like a paradigm that's like kind of toxic, to be totally honest. They don't. She outwardly tells the guy that she falls in love with, "I don't like you. I hate you. I hate this. I hate. Why am I here?" Like, but then her internal dialogue, she's very clear with us. Like, okay, yeah, I told him I hated him, but like, oh my God, he smells so good, and like, he's so attractive. He may be the most attractive man I've ever met. Like, it's just so, it's such an honest take, on, I mean, on a woman's experience, I was going to say, but like what woman is in like ancient fantasy lands with monsters coming after her. So here are some of the highlights that I really loved. I love the premise of this book. So I don't think I talked about it in the synopsis, but um, her father didn't clue her into this, but when she goes to Turo with the prince's whole kind of like entourage, she finds out that there are these monsters who have something called Lysa, and that they are like monsters on steroids, and they're like crazy on rabies. They have rabies, really. Basically, Lysa's like rabies. Um, and that they don't know where Lysa came from. They don't know why anybody has it, or why these monsters have it. Like they're trying to hunt it out, like kill the monsters that have it. They're not doing a great job. They're struggling with it. And so it's this whole thing, like they're traveling through the countryside because they're trying to get to this particular destination, and they keep encountering all these scary different types of monsters, which I think is really fascinating. I think like mythical, magical creatures are amazing, right? Like, I love to think about like the mind of the author that came up with, I can take these off, the mind of the author that came up with these weird creatures, right? Like it says more about the author and their writing and their own imagination and their own creative process, which is just captivating. I think it's just captivating. Um, so I loved that part of it. Yeah, I think like a writer's process and a writer's imagination is something to behold and to value, and I definitely do with Devney Perry's writing in this book. I also really loved the relationship with Ransom. Like, he's a jerk at times. He's way too hard on her most of the time. And then there will be the most gentle or the most ferocious care that he takes of her and that he offers her, that really like shows you, oh, not all people are bad, and not all people like, a person is not all bad or all good, right? Like he is a mix of all those things, and it really comes through in this book in a way that I just think is, again, it's not trite. He's not like the sweeping Prince Charming. He's got a bad side, a dark side, a jerk side, like all of those things. And she comes to know them. And I think the interplay between the two is really, it feels really true. It feels really true to like how I've interacted with other humans in my life, and how I think all of us can be. Like we have all sides, right? We have all sides. I also love that she's written as a badass. Like she's nervous and uncertain at times, but she isn't the like damsel in distress that needs to be saved. She is fierce and um, rises to the challenge in every moment. Like I think that it's profound the way that she's written to hold her own, and she's written to know her own mind and to be outspoken about it and to be direct and honest and clear about who she is and what she wants. And I love that. It makes her not feel cheesy and cringe, which can be hard to come by in a lot of books, like written by certain authors with certain initials that might sound like "cha" that a lot of people read. Okay. The last thing I'll say is that she has this really adorable, endearing relationship with a child named Evie. And what I love about Evie, or Evangeline's character, is that she's a child. We don't know whose child she is at first and where she came from, but the dialogue and the voice of Evie comes across as a child. Like sometimes when adults write children, they come across as really fake, or they come across as the way adults see children, which is either like precious and precocious, or like really annoying and bratty. And Evie is just like, she's a mix of all the things that a kid is, like rebellious, but also sweet, deeply loving, but also very independent. Like she's just done a great job in fleshing all these characters out to make them feel really real and human, so that we can relate to them and really fall in love with them. And I think it can be particularly challenging to do with romance and with a child in your book. And she's done it. She's knocked it out of the park, with all of the characters. Then the last thing is like the ending just leaves you wanting more. Like she doesn't wrap everything up with a bow. It's confusing. Confusing might not be the right word. It's a cliffhanger. You're like, wait, what's happening? Like, what comes next? Like, oh my God. So of course, as soon as the book was done, I'm searching for the next one, which you guys would probably have already been searching for the next one, but I'm not that quick on the draw. And sure enough, it just came out a few weeks ago. So I was lucky enough to get it on Libby right away. I have about 6 days left. I have to listen to like 2 hours a day to be able to get through the entire book before it's due back. But I am super excited about it. And it's proving to be just as interesting and just as good as the first one. The premise is totally different. Not totally different, but like there's a whole other component that's being weaved in that I think is telling us a deep, deep backstory that I cannot wait to get to the end of. So, well, and it probably won't be the end in book 2. So, guys, go out and check out, buy, listen to Shield of Sparrows. You will not regret it. Okay, friends, until next time, thanks for being here.